Okay, so get this. You open your window, right, on a rainy day, and instead of streaks on the glass, the water just beads up and rolls right off.
Yeah.
No streaks, no wiping
Incredible.
needed.
Yeah.
Now imagine that, but for your car, your house,
Right.
basically anything.
Wow.
That's the kind of wild future we're diving into today.
That's the potential of super hydrophobic materials.
Right.
Surfaces that basically laugh in the face of water.
They do.
And the really cool part is we're not talking about some distant sci-fi concept.
No.
This stuff is being developed right now.
That's right. And it's all thanks to some seriously clever science based on this article, Water's Worst Nightmare, the Rise of Super Hydrophobic Material.
Exciting stuff.
So buckle up because we're going deep on how these materials work.
Yeah.
What makes them so special and just how much they could change, well, everything.
We're talking potential applications from everyday life to cutting-edge tech.
Right.
And to understand it all,
Yeah.
we need to start with the building blocks of this revolution. Metal organic frameworks, better known as MOFs.
MOFs. All right, full transparency. You lost me a bit there.
Wow.
Can we break that down?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think of them as tiny, super organized structures.
Okay.
Picture metal ions, like little building blocks connected by organic molecules. Those are the struts and beams of our tiny structure.
I'm picturing it.
And what's wild is that this creates a material with a mind-boggling amount of surface area.
Oh, hold on. How much surface area are we talking here?
Get this. Imagine 2 grams of this MOF stuff. That's like, what, a couple of sugar packets?
Right.
Well, that tiny amount has the same surface area as a whole football field.
I am picturing a sugar packet suddenly expanding to cover a football field.
Right.
That's a lot of surface area.
It is.
But why does that even matter?
That massive surface area is the secret sauce.
Okay.
It's what gives MOFs their superpower,
Uh-huh.
the ability to interact with other molecules on an insane scale. Think about it like this. More surface area equals more space for reactions to happen,
Right.
which makes them super versatile.
Okay.
We're talking about everything from storing gases to filtering pollutants, even delivering medicine inside your body.
Okay, mind officially blown.
Yeah.
So we've got these MOFs, tiny structures
Yeah.
with a massive surface area.
Right.
How do scientists turn that into something that repels water like it's going out of style?
They got clever with chemistry.
Okay.
Imagine taking those MOFs and attaching teeny tiny hydrocarbon chains to their surface.
Okay.
Think of it like giving the MOF a coat of microscopic oily strands.
Uh-huh.
This creates a surface that's basically water's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Water just beads up, almost forming a perfect sphere, like it's trying to get as far away as possible.
The article mentions something called a contact angle, and I have to admit I'm drawing a blank here.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's all about how much a liquid freaks out when it touches a surface.
Okay.
Picture a raindrop hitting a leaf.
Yeah.
It stays pretty round, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's a high contact angle,
Okay.
meaning the leaf is hydrophobic. Water just doesn't want to stick around.
Yeah.
Now picture that same raindrop hitting a waxed car.
Uh-huh.
It practically bounces off,
Yeah.
forming an even rounder, tighter sphere.
Right.
That's a crazy high contact angle,
Okay.
aka superhydrophobicity, like we're seeing with these MOFs.
So the higher the contact angle, the more the water says, nope, sticking around.
Exactly.
Okay.
These modified MOFs hit a contact angle of over 160 degrees, which is basically like water doing a full-on backflip away from the surface.
All right, color me impressed.
Yeah.
But then the article throws in terms like Palmer brushes and a high entropy state.
Right.
I'm starting to feel like I need a science dictionary over here.
No worries. We'll break it down.
Okay.
Those terms are actually key to the whole water-repelling magic trick.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those hydrocarbon chains we attached to the MOFs?
Yeah.
Well, they don't just lay flat.
Oh.
They're coiled up in a totally random, messy way, kind of like a pile of tangled up phone cords.
Yeah.
That's what we call the high entropy state.
So basically, we're talking organized chaos at a microscopic level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this messiness is the key to making the surface super water repellent.
Okay.
Imagine trying to throw a water balloon at a surface covered in those bouncy, springy phone cords.
Right.
It's just not going to stick.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But here's what really blew my mind.
Yeah.
The researchers found that using a different type of chain, the kind they use in Teflon, actually made the water repellency worse.
Interesting.
I mean, Teflon is known for being slippery, right?
It is. And that's what makes this finding so interesting.
Right.
It turns out that those Teflon-like chains couldn't achieve that same level of disordered coiling
Right.
on the MOF surface.
Yeah.
They were more organized, less messy, and because of that, less effective at repelling water.
So it's not just about what you attach to the surface, but how those molecules are arranged, how much they're freestyling up there. It's like, in this case, messy is good.
Exactly.
Who knew? And it gets even wilder because the researchers didn't just create a super hydrophobic material.
Right.
They figured out how to tweak its water sticking power.
Yeah, they basically learned to fine-tune how much the water droplets wanted to cling on
Oh, wow.
by playing with the roughness of the surface at a super tiny scale.
Okay.
They could make the droplets stick a little bit
Uh-huh.
or just slide right off with the slightest tilt.
Right.
Imagine being able to control how slippery a surface is down to the nano level.
That's some serious next-level control.
It is.
We're not just talking about water-repellent materials here.
No.
We're talking about a whole new way of thinking about how we design and control materials.
It's a game changer, and we're just getting started.
Okay.
But before we dive into the mind-blowing possibilities of this technology,
Yeah.
let's take a quick pause to recap what we've learned so far.
Sounds like a good plan.
We've covered what those mysterious MOFs are,
Right.
how scientists managed to make them super hydrophobic by attaching those free-spirited hydrocarbon chains, and how they can even fine-tune the stickiness of the surface.
Right.
It's amazing how much science can be packed into a single research project.
Right, and it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I'm already picturing self-cleaning everything, waterproof gadgets, and who knows what else.
Exactly.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
For all those mind-blowing possibilities, stay tuned for part 2.
Definitely.
All right, so we've got these super hydrophobic MOFs, tiny structures that can repel water like it's their job.
Right.
Now let's get to the fun part.
Yeah.
What can we actually do with this stuff?
Fasten your seatbelts, because the potential applications of this technology are about to take us on a wild ride.
Hit me with it. I'm ready for the future.
Okay, imagine this. You're driving down the road on a rainy day.
Uh-huh.
Instead of your car getting plastered with raindrops and road grime, the water just beads up and rolls right off, taking the dirt with it. You're essentially driving a self-cleaning car.
Wait, so no more car washes.
That's the idea.
My lazy heart is doing a happy dance right now.
Think bigger.
Okay.
Imagine entire buildings coated with this super hydrophobic material.
Wow.
We're talking skyscrapers that stay sparkling clean even in the most polluted cities.
Yeah.
Not only does that cut down on maintenance costs,
Right.
but it could even improve air quality by reducing the need for harsh cleaning chemicals.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And those are just the everyday uses.
Right.
What about applications in more specialized fields?
The possibilities are practically endless. Take water harvesting, for example.
Yeah.
Imagine using this technology to create super efficient systems for collecting rainwater
Right.
in arid regions, providing a sustainable source of clean water where it's needed most.
That would be incredible.
It would.
And I bet this technology could be a game changer in the medical field too, right?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges with medical implants and devices is biofouling.
Biofouling.
That's when bacteria or other microorganisms latch onto the surface and start causing trouble.
So basically, it's like unwanted hitchhikers causing infections and complications.
Exactly.
Okay.
But imagine coating those medical devices with a super hydrophobic layer.
Right.
It would be like creating a force field that repels those pesky microorganisms, reducing the risk of infections and extending the lifespan of the implants.
Okay, this is getting seriously futuristic.
Yeah.
What about electronics? I mean, who hasn't spilled a drink on their phone or laptop at some point?
Protecting electronics from water damage is a constant battle.
It is.
But with super hydrophobic coatings, our gadgets could become virtually waterproof.
Right.
Spill coffee on your keyboard, no problem.
Wow.
Drop your phone in the sink, it's all good.
That would be life-changing. I'm picturing a world where Butterfingers is no longer an insult because spills just don't matter anymore. But I have to admit, this all sounds a bit too good to be true.
Yeah.
Are there any downsides to this technology?
Well, there are always challenges when it comes to developing new technologies.
Sure.
And super hydrophobic materials are no exception.
Okay.
One of the biggest hurdles is durability.
Okay.
Remember, those super water repellent properties rely on incredibly tiny, delicate structures at the nanoscale.
So we're talking structures that are way smaller than a human hair.
Way smaller.
Okay.
And those structures can be easily damaged by things like scratches, heat, or even exposure to certain chemicals.
So if I scratched my super hydrophobic phone case,
Yeah.
could that actually make it less water repellent?
Unfortunately, yes. That's why researchers are working hard to develop more robust superhydrophobic materials that can withstand the wear and tear of everyday life.
Okay, that makes sense. Durability is definitely something to consider.
Uh-huh.
What about the environmental impact of these materials?
Right.
Are we trading one problem for another?
That's a really important question, and one that scientists are actively investigating.
Okay.
Some of the materials used to create superhydrophobic surfaces, particularly certain types of fluorocarbons,
Right.
have raised concerns about their persistence in the environment and potential for harm.
So there's a risk that these materials could accumulate in the ecosystem
Right.
and have unintended consequences.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And it highlights the need for careful research and development of environmentally friendly alternatives.
Right.
The good news is that scientists are already exploring new approaches to create superhydrophobic materials using more sustainable and biodegradable materials.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
So it's not just about creating these amazing materials,
Sure.
it's also about making sure they're safe for us and the planet.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between innovation and responsibility.
Right.
And that brings us to an important point. While this research has opened up a world of possibilities,
Yeah.
it's crucial to consider the ethical implications as well.
Ethical implications.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure.
I'm curious to know what kind of ethical challenges we might face with a technology like this.
Well, for starters, we have to be mindful of potential misuse.
Okay.
Imagine someone using superhydrophobic coatings to create surfaces that repel water in a way that could cause harm or damage.
Like making a surface so slippery that it becomes a safety hazard.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Or imagine using this technology to create coatings that could interfere with firefighting efforts by preventing water from extinguishing flames.
Okay, I see your point. It's like any powerful tool.
Right.
It can be used for good or for ill.
Precisely. And that's why it's essential to have open discussions about the potential ethical implications of this technology.
Right.
And to develop guidelines and regulations that ensure its responsible development and use.
It's like we're not just talking about a scientific breakthrough here. We're
Yeah.
talking about a societal one as well.
Exactly. And that's what makes this topic so fascinating.
Yeah.
It goes beyond the science and touches on so many aspects of our lives.
It does.
But before we get too deep into the philosophical implications, let's shift gears and explore a different side of this research that I think you'll find really intriguing.
Okay, I'm all ears. What else have you got for me? All right, we've talked about the amazing possibilities of these super hydrophobic materials, but you also hinted at something deeper going on with this research.
Right.
What's the big picture here?
What's truly exciting is that this research isn't just about a single new material. It's giving us a whole new understanding of how to design materials at the most basic level.
So it's not just about this one MOF.
Right.
It's about learning how to control the way materials interact with water
Exactly.
on purpose.
Imagine a world where we can tailor the properties of any surface,
Okay.
making it repel or attract water with incredible precision.
Wow.
We could create fabrics that never get wet,
Right.
build pipelines that move liquids with almost zero friction,
Uh-huh.
even design completely new types of waterproof electronics.
That's some serious sci-fi stuff right there. It's like we're not just adapting to water's properties anymore.
Right.
We're learning to speak its language.
Yeah.
To actually control it.
And this control could have huge implications for solving some of the world's biggest challenges.
Oh, like what?
Think about drought-stricken areas.
Okay.
Imagine using this technology to design highly efficient water harvesting systems,
Right?
pulling every last drop of moisture from the air,
Wow.
or creating new types of filtration membranes that can purify water using less energy.
So we're not just talking about cool gadgets and self-cleaning cars here.
Nope.
We're talking about potentially revolutionizing agriculture, healthcare, and access to clean water.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
it goes even further.
Oh.
What if we could apply these principles to other liquids, not just water?
Okay.
Imagine designing pipelines that can transport oil with minimal energy loss, or creating surfaces that repel harmful chemicals.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. This is way bigger than I ever imagined. We've gone from self-cleaning windows to potentially reshaping entire industries.
It all starts with a deep understanding of the fundamental principles of chemistry and material science.
Right.
By unlocking those secrets, we're opening up a universe of possibilities limited only by our imagination.
So what's next? What are the big questions researchers are trying to answer now?
One of the key challenges is scaling up production.
Oh.
Right now, these super hydrophobic materials are mostly made in small batches in the lab.
Yeah.
Figuring out how to produce them on an industrial scale in a cost-effective and environmentally friendly way is a major hurdle.
I guess that makes sense.
It does.
It's one thing to make something amazing in a lab.
Right.
It's a whole other challenge to make enough of it to change the world.
Exactly. But that's what makes this field so exciting.
Yeah.
It's not just about scientific discovery. It's about innovation, engineering, and collaboration across different disciplines to bring these breakthroughs to life.
Well, I have to admit, I'm walking away from this deep dive with a whole new level of appreciation for the power of science and the incredible things we can achieve when we push the boundaries of what's possible.
I agree.
Like, who knows what kind of world we'll be living in a few decades from now, thanks to these kinds of discoveries.
That's the beauty of it. The future is full of possibilities.
It is?
And the best part is we get to be a part of shaping that future.
Right.
Through our curiosity, our creativity, and our commitment to pushing the boundaries of knowledge.
So for all of you listening out there, next time you see a raindrop beating up on a surface, take a moment to appreciate the incredible science at play. And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to come up with the next big breakthrough in super hydrophobic materials or any field that sparks your imagination.
That's a great point.
That's all for this deep dive.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us, and keep exploring.